جزاكم الله خير. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. So I had actually made dua not to cry, um, but subhanAllah, there's a reason for everything. I will say, going into this session, obviously feeling very emotional, feeling very anxious as well, as I'm sure many of you have been experiencing the past few days. There's a feeling of responsibility in wanting to convey what words can't convey, wanting to bring healing when we are not the source of healing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the source of healing, but feeling that anxiety regardless. And, I was reflecting a lot of times when people talk about betrayal, they describe it as a punch in the gut, right? Like feeling as though the wind has been knocked out of you. And I think that was a very apt description for myself, a very apt description for many of you, a very apt description for the instructors and Al-Maghrib staff who have worked with this person. And so in grieving this betrayal of somebody entrusted to convey Islamic knowledge, it hits on so many different levels. It hits on so many different levels for me, and it hits on so many different levels for you as somebody who is first and foremost a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alhamdulillah, a Muslimah. It hits in hearing the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being used to abuse another person, in seeing spiritual abuse in a way that was so stark as a mother to children, realizing the dangers that can be lurking so close to home. As a therapist who has worked with countless, subhanAllah, survivors of sexual abuse from within their families, from within communities, and then as somebody who works with Al-Maghrib, right? Somebody who I have been a student of Al-Maghrib since my college years. SubhanAllah, it has been an institute that has brought me so much knowledge, alhamdulillah, so much joy, some of the closest friendships that I still have to this day, and then being an instructor with it. So it hit on so many different levels, and it was a really intense punch to the gut, as I'm sure so many of you have experienced. And so I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about the things that have been running through my mind that I've been reminding myself of, that I hope, inshallah, can bring some comfort in a time when words can only do so much, right? And so the first thing that I want to acknowledge is that betrayal is the betrayal of trust, and the breach of trust is a very unique type of trauma. Betrayal trauma is in a lot of ways more difficult than the death of a person, right? They both involve an intense loss, but a betrayal involves a loss that's on purpose, a loss that was a choice. And death is not a choice, but hurting others is a choice, and that hurts more. And so trauma that comes with betrayal, and the anger and the anxiety and the disappointment and the disgust and the overwhelm, it affects us so deeply, especially when this betrayal is coming from somebody who is supposed to be in high religious standing, right? When it's not even just a shortcoming, it's not a simple mistake. This is a crime, and this is a crime where somebody, has been really hurt, right? And so this can really shake us very, very deeply.